Hey everyone. So today we're going to crack open a really important piece of writing, one that shaped how a lot of us think about technology. It's Neal Stephenson's epic 1999 essay, In the Beginning Was the Command Line. And trust me, this isn't just about computers. It's about the very culture of how we interact with our world.
So let's just get right to the heart of it with the central question Stephenson throws at us. He basically argues that your choice of a Mac, a PC, or Linux, it's not just about what's cheaper or has better apps. No, it's a statement about the kind of world you want to live in. A world where you're in direct, raw control, or one where things are kind of pre-packaged for you. And it all boils down to this one really powerful idea: metaphor. Stephenson points out that ever since the first Mac, we don't actually interact with the computer itself. We interact with a story. You have a desktop, you have folders, you put things in the trash. These aren't real things inside your computer. They're metaphors. And the specific metaphors we choose, well, they have massive consequences. To really get a handle on this whole metaphor thing, Stephenson doesn't even start with a computer. He starts with a car. This is where he kind of grounds the whole argument, showing us that how we interact with something is often way more important than what that something can technically do. He kicks things off with this story about his friend's dad and his old, kind of junky MGB sports car. Now, by any practical measure, it was a terrible car, but it offered two completely, totally different experiences based on one simple thing, whether you were driving it or just sitting in the passenger seat. And this is the perfect analogy for computing, right? For the driver, the MGB was this visceral thing. You felt every bump in the road right through the steering wheel. You were in direct, unfiltered control. That, Stephenson says, is the command line. But for the passenger, it was just a boring, shaky ride, pointless. And that, he argues, is the experience of a lot of modern graphical user interfaces, or GUIs. All right, so from the sports car, Stephenson pivots to another killer analogy. He wants us to imagine the entire operating system market as a bunch of competing car dealerships all sitting at the same intersection. And this is where the history of computing gets really, really clear and kind of hilarious. So here's the lineup. You had Microsoft, who started out selling this simple 3-speed bicycle called MS-DOS. It worked. Then Apple pulls up with this gorgeous, expensive, totally sealed car. You couldn't even open the hood. In response, Microsoft builds this huge, clunky station wagon, Windows 95. It was ugly, it leaked oil, but everybody bought it. Meanwhile, across the street, you had these other options: the super advanced BIOS Batmobile, and most importantly, the Linux folks, who were just giving away free, indestructible, high-tech tanks. But here's the really wild part. Even with these free, technically superior tanks just sitting there, keys in the ignition, 90% of customers walk right past them, go into the Microsoft dealership, and buy the station wagon. They don't even kick the tires on the tanks. So why? And Stephenson sums up this cultural clash perfectly with this little imagined exchange. You've got the hacker yelling through a bullhorn, "It's better, it's free," and the regular person just says, "Get away from me, you weirdo." It's not about logic. It's about culture, about familiarity. People trust the big, shiny dealership. The free tank is just, it's too much. It's too strange. Okay, so what's the deal with these free tanks anyway? What's the philosophy behind them?
To explain Unix in the command line, Stephenson moves from cars to, well, a much more intense analogy: a ridiculously powerful construction tool.
He calls Unix the whole hog of operating systems. A whole hog, if you don't know, is this beast of a professional drill. It has so much torque, it could literally snap your wrist. It has zero safety features. It doesn't guess what you mean. It just does exactly what you tell it to, with terrifying, unrestrained power. So here's how the two drills map onto the two interfaces. The average homeowner's drill is like a GUI. It's plastic, it's safe, it's forgiving. It's designed to protect you from your own mistakes. But the whole hog? That's the command line. It assumes you are a professional who knows exactly what you're doing, and if you mess up, well, that's on you. The power isn't dangerous, but a user who doesn't understand that power sure is. Okay, so this gets us to the why. Why do almost all of us choose the safe plastic drill? Stephenson's answer is that it's because we live in what he calls an interface culture, and the best example of this is Disney. He tells this incredible story about being at Disney World and seeing a guy filming the fake Main Street on his camcorder, but he was watching the little screen on the camera instead of the actual, real, fake street right in front of him. See, we don't just put up with these filtered, mediated experiences, we actually prefer them. We want the polished illusion. And that's really the core of it, right? This is why GUIs won. Our entire culture is built on convenience over complexity. We want the summary, not the raw data. We prefer the seamless illusion over getting our hands dirty. And most of all, we'd rather just trust some anonymous programmer at a giant company to make decisions for us than have to deal with the messy reality ourselves. So Stephenson takes this whole idea to its grand, almost sci-fi conclusion. He borrows a metaphor from H.G. Wells's The Time Machine to describe what he sees as the emerging two-tiered structure of our whole society. In his telling, there are the alloy. That's most of us, really. We're the consumers. We live in the world of simple interfaces and media summaries. And then, underground, working the machines are the Morlocks. They're the tiny minority, the programmers, the engineers, the people who actually understand how things work in detail. They're the ones building the simplified reality for all the alloy to live in. And that's the fundamental deal we're making. Every single time we click an icon instead of typing a command, we are giving up a little bit of power and a little bit of responsibility. We're essentially asking the machine to guess what we want, saving us the effort of having to be precise. It is the ultimate trade, power for convenience. So Stephenson just leaves us with this one last, really sharp question. It's not a judgment, not at all. It's more like an invitation to look at all the interfaces in our lives, on our phones, our computers, everywhere, and just ask ourselves, are we okay with the choices that are being made for us? It's a question that was powerful back then, and honestly, it might be even more important today.